but then we can hear it in our heads. Yes. Okay. You guys, welcome to the Hey Frase podcast. Welcome to the show. We are your hosts. I'm Sarah Fraser along with AJ on the mic. And today is a very special day. We're testing something new.
Yes, I mean, it's been in the works for a long time, but we're finally here.
We're finally here. I think we've been teasing this and you guys have heard, but we wanted to create a podcast annex, okay? So normally Monday and Wednesdays, we podcast out of Podcast Village. They're amazing in Georgetown. We love everybody, Charlie and Oscar and Shannon, Brittany, the whole crew, right? We love them. So, but then we want to create more content. We want to do a Patreon page eventually. We almost want to be able at some point, we're kind of experimenting. Maybe even doing like a 30-minute show 4 days a week and then giving you longer Patreon. I don't know. And you guys can always email us. It's sarah@heyfrase.com. AJ on the mic. You can follow her on Instagram and DM us. That's what somebody did today with Pineapple Mail, because on Mondays we always do Pineapple Mail. That's like all of your feedback, all of your thoughts. If you have questions, if you need advice, you can always hit us up. So anyhow, we are playing around with this. Today we wanted to show you behind the scenes of this podcast annex studio that we are working on. And it's very girly, don't you think?
I mean, yeah, but that's our whole vibe, right? We're very girly. We have the lips, we have pink.
I love it. Little middle finger.
Little middle finger.
It looks so good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I love it. We chose this color. Really, I don't know.
Pickled ginger.
Pickled ginger.
So to describe it for you, because, I mean, of course you can watch us on YouTube. So the show is on YouTube. Monday and Wednesdays, we put out new episodes, 12:30 p.m. But if you're looking right now, it's pickled ginger on the wall. Then you picked out these beautiful gold frames from Wayfair.
I love them. Yeah, they're like open 3D framed shelves.
Gorgeous. We have like some Hey Frase things. We have our lip stuff. We're going to do a behind the scenes video for our vlog of what went into this studio. But right now, people are just seeing what? They're not even seeing the neon lips, right?
The neon lips. Oh, you can see the neon lips.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
In the video,
if you can't see the painted from your friend Lucy.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. So we love lips. We talk for a living. And, it's really from our lips to your earphones to your face. And then hopefully, viral for the right reasons. Because let me tell you, I've gone viral for the wrong. And it really sucks. Yeah, the internet is out for you. So we have a lot to talk about. AJ and I went to an event last night. I loved it. I wanted to ask you a follow-up question because the big question of the night was the question of why. Why are you doing what you're doing? I feel like that's a big buzz question right now. Why? What's your why?
What's your why? Yeah. What's your passion and why is it your passion? And why do you do what you do?
I want to talk about that. Then we, it said that we were going to peel the curtain back more. And, to tell people, like, we are trying to create a huge national brand, like have a big talk show. AJ's going to be on SNL. Paul Wharton we want to have on more. He's building a lifestyle brand, sort of. We think, right?
Oh, he definitely is doing something. I mean, he was in the Hamptons this weekend. So, he's just... Yes.
When I called him and told him, I was like, we were working on pitching like a bigger talk show and having Paul as one of the characters. And I was like, we're going to feature you and your lifestyle brand. Yes. I'm like, okay, but what are you working on?
Sounds fantastic, sweetie. Yes.
Yes.
Count me in.
Count me in, sweetie. Yes.
We're like, all right, so what day can you come in? Oh, no, sweetie, I'm in the Hamptons now, so
sweetie,
I can.
I'll have to Skype, sweetie. Okay, now do you have any new products out aside from Aunt Vera's candle? No, sweetie, no. Okay. Anyhow, so, I want to ask you your power of why. And then just to peel back the curtain, like right now, the way that we fund this podcast is through advertisers. We have amazing advertisers. Third Love Bra, Advantage Financial, Progression Salon, you name it. Cryotherapy Advantage, Total Dental Care. We've had some amazing sponsors, okay? But the reality is we're not always everyone's cup of tea. You're not always everyone's fit, right?
Yes, that does happen.
And to be fair, a sponsor who will go unannounced, we decided actually this spring that we were not going to work with because we did not like how they were handling customers. All right.
I remember that.
So it works both ways, right? But then we got some customer feedback that essentially a client said they didn't want to work with us because we were, quote, not polished enough. I want to know what you think that means.
It's like were they
what
trying
do you
to be
think
polite?
You can totally say be like, because I said to Dan, I was like, okay, they're basically saying that we're too much, like that we're too like raunchy. I think that's what that means. But maybe I'm really sensitive because I still straddle that thing. Because as you know, I would do the shirt without my shirt on. Like I would do the show without my shirt on.
Oh no, yeah. But I think calling someone's brand not polished enough is a little bit harsh. I would have gone with, I also like to beat around the bush a little bit. So I would be like, you know what? I just don't think our brands match up. We are really looking for this type of image. But to say that somebody's not polished enough, we sound like trash on the street.
I
We're
know.
not polished. Have you seen our pictures?
Yeah, what more do you want?
We look fine. We're not completely...
We fucking Facetune with the best of them.
Exactly.
What do you want?
We use Photoshop. We know how to edit. So to say not polished enough is a little bit harsh for me. But at the end of the day, no harm, no foul. Obviously, it wasn't going to work out. And we move on to the next and better thing.
Dan thought that it meant that we just weren't at a big enough level yet. And I'm like, really? What does that mean? He just means, he's like, it just means you're unrefined. Your brand hasn't fully developed. That's what he thought it meant.
Unrefined.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I'm
even
like,
more harsh. We're throwing around a lot of words here.
I know. He's like, you're just like a diamond in the rough is what they're telling you.
A diamond in the rough?
Excuse me? We've been at this for 10 years.
A diamond in the rough. We both have degrees in this shit.
How many more drills and polish machines can we get out here? Okay, we're doing shows night and day. We're doing vlogs. What else do you want?
You know what?
Diamond in the rough.
I thought our last live show, I thought we were diamonds. I thought we were diamonds in the sky and the expensive ones, not cubic zirconium.
Thank you. When Chase came out, when Dirty Dean came out, okay, when the strippers took the stage, you knew that show. I mean, that was a polished act. Yes, thank you.
It was clean as a whistle.
I would love to know what you guys listening and watching, what does your brand is not polished mean?
It's like, okay, we won't take it in a bad way, in a negative way.
I'm really actually getting at a good place where I don't take things personally anymore because, again, it works both ways. And this is the thing that I keep saying on this show is now with podcast advertising, we are trusting you guys. We are asking you, hey, support this show, support having people on like Paul, hopefully Danny Starr. I know a lot of people want her back on the show. Like, we have to pay those people. I have to pay you. I have to pay myself. Like, this is a full-time. We are making this into our own talk show and brand, and growing it beyond the DC area.
100%.
So in order to do that, you have to frequent our sponsors, come to our shows, pay for the show, and you guys always rise to the occasion. So I also feel now a great responsibility that we can't just take on any advertiser.
Right. Any Joe Schmo off the street. We can't because we don't support them and we want to support only people that we know our listeners want to support.
Well, yeah, and I think our listeners are, a lot of women that are, some are married, half are single, but you're making your own money. You're blazing your own trail. So too, when we say to you, hey, buy this $50 ticket, buy this shirt, buy this piece of jewelry, whatever it is, we want the people on the other end to also be like, hey, they're grateful, like sharing their story. And not every client is like that.
Which we found.
And clearly some of the clients out there feel that we're not like that. So you know what? Fine. We're moving on.
We're not polished enough.
Were you offended by that?
Well, not really. I mean, I'm learning to build a thicker skin.
Definitely.
And especially just know your brand. And if it doesn't align with it, then there's really no harm done. I mean.
Polish this. No, I'm just kidding.
No, kidding. Totally kidding. No, we just know our brand now, and I think we're really defining our brand, and we're getting a sense of ourselves. And you've kind of known your brand for a long time, but I think we've just been shut down by so many different media sites. And you're too this, you're not enough this, which is like it's disheartening. But I think you just have to blaze your own trail.
I do, and I think I really feel like it is when you're in the entertainment business, and it's so funny. I always joke about this, but in a way, it's when I first got hired at Hot 99.5, like after I got hired, the motto there was like, "Congrats." Now it's not show friends, it's show business.
Yes,
and in a way, it was like, oh, that's such a shitty motto, but then it's also very true. And it's like in entertainment, people you're gonna really cast a wide. You're gonna knock on a million doors. It's like Lady Gaga, 100 no's until Bradley Cooper says yes. Okay, so there it is. Bradley Cooper will probably meet us, and he'll be like, yes.
I loved it.
You two are just the right amount of polish.
I'm like, just like Irina?
Yeah.
Well, you left her, so.
She's still doing A-okay. Anyway, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. You guys are really good. You always hit us up on Twitter at Hey Frase. Just a reminder, too, we now have the Hey Frase Show, or just Hey Frase Instagram. So that's going to be a lot more of AJ's life, my life, what's happening behind the scenes, peeling back the curtain, memes, videos, fun things on the street. And then now I just launched my own just personal Sarah Hey Frase Instagram page. So then I can just post like more pictures of Dan and me and mindful eating, which I love. So definitely follow that. And then
follow Sarah Hey Frase.
Sarah Hey Frase. And then, of course, Hey Frase, you'll see everybody collectively as a show and all the content and material that we put out. So there you go.
There you go.
What's your why? So as people get to know this show, we get new subscribers on Instagram, Instagram and on YouTube. The big question is, why are we doing what we're doing? And why should people follow us? And what do they get by following us? So like when we were at this event last night, and a shout out to our friend Deborah Alfarone, who we love, who used to be on Channel 9.
Right. She was a reporter, then an anchor.
Yeah, you're really friends. You kind of knew her first.
Yeah, because I was her production assistant, and she was kind of the really only anchor that paid attention. Well, I wouldn't say only anchor, but she really paid attention to the production assistants and the little people and the younger crowd, because she always wanted to know, what do you want to do? She was the first person to ask me,
really?
Andrea, what is it that you want to do? And I was like, who, me? I was just scrolling the teleprompter, doing my little job. And when you find out her story and you peel back her curtain, she has an amazing story. And so I kind of befriended her. And I just kept in touch with her forever. And now she's an entrepreneur, started her own business.
Yep.
We went to go support her yesterday. And I love watching her do her thing. And it makes so much sense now that she's doing what she's doing.
Yes.
Because as an anchor, of course, like that was one of her dreams. She reported, she was an anchor, but she worked on Wall Street and she was a high school dropout. So I think she's really doing what her calling is now, which is coaching other people and...
Yeah, and helping you find your why, and then, of course, really getting people on TV. So we went to her event last night, and it was so sweet. There was a lot of people there, and I loved hearing people's answers, why they don't pitch themselves on TV, why they're afraid to go on TV, why they're afraid to do an Instagram Live. Most people were saying they were worried about what they would say. They would say something wrong.
Right, or why do people care?
Why do people care? Super nervous. But then she wanted to know, she had a worksheet and she wanted to know why we're doing what we're doing. So why are we doing this show? Why are we doing what we're doing, do you think?
Well, our main mantra is to entertain and inspire you to follow what you're doing, what you're passionate about. We want to make you laugh while all doing that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of went into deeper what I want, why I do what I do. I've always been more of the class clown kind of person.
Yeah.
And if I dug really, really deep, it's because my mom has always suffered from a mild form of depression.
Yeah.
She's hot, she's cold, and she's never really done any treatments for it because she's very religious and she believes that that's her way of getting out of the sadness, is just praying and being spiritual. And I've always been that happy vice for her almost. And ever since I was little, I noticed that she would be like, you're the only reason, you're one of the main reasons why I'm happy. And that internalized in me since I was little. And every time I'm home, I have to make her laugh, or I have to get a laugh from her. And I think honestly,
that's so good. And she
Isn't that
really
crazy?
loves that from you. She's the first person. She's like, oh, Andrea can do an impression of anybody. It's so good. And she's
my
loves,
biggest fan.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm also an impersonator. And that came, from being a child. My dad is a huge impression artist. He can do so many accents.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And most of the time we're competing at the dinner table.
Benito can do what?
Yes.
What is Benito, who is your dad? What's his best impression?
His most famous is he does a lot of accents, and whenever we would go to get Indian food, and this gets a little, on the line, but back then when I was 8 years old or 7, no one really, it wasn't racial
wasn't
or anything.
offensive then.
It wasn't offensive, right. When telemarketers call, he loves to talk back to them in their accents, and as a child, I just would see that and I would try. And now we compete with each other.
Here come the tweets.
Here come the tweets. I know. What accent are you doing? No, but he's of Mexican descent. He was born here, but he grew up with an entire Mexican family. So he does a Hispanic accent. He can do Dominican, New Yorker. He does all of it. So that mixed with my mom's need for happiness and laughter.
Yeah.
Well, you roll it into a smoothie and you got me.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. And I ultimately, whatever, I feel like when people do impressions of me, it's the ultimate form of flattery, really.
Yes, it is.
I think, but I'm kind of a narcissist, so I'm like, oh, fabulous. They've spent some time perfecting my accent. Okay, terrific. Tag me.
Tag me at it. Sarah goes like this a lot. And let me say this. You know what, Age? Let me ask you this. And that's literally where it stops with Sarah. I've got to get some other lines.
Those are the ones we know.
Suck on this, bitch.
Suck on this.
That's
Eat
it.
my dick. Eat my dick.
We're polished. Fuck off. Oh, fuck all the way off with that.
Fuck all the way off. Now I just get a New York accent too. People, I think that's funny sometimes when people come up to us now and they're like, "Are you guys from New Jersey?" No,
we get that.
We
now.
get that a lot. We get that a lot now.
Isn't
I'm like,
it so funny?
No, we're not.
You guys, two friends from New York?
You guys from New Jersey? No.
No, we're not.
We play one on TV.
We're from Arlington.
A-Town, the fucking whitest, blandest suburb of Washington, D.C. Yeah. Where you heading out tonight? Just going for a marg.
Just one.
I love that why. That's a really good why.
Well, that's like really digging deep. And then I love laughter. Like if I want to be known as the funny girl, I don't really care about being known as the pretty girl, or I want to be known as funny and nice and caring. That's really it.
And you know what was great about Deborah saying is she's like, you save lives. So when you truly live your calling, you don't realize it. But she's like, the show that you guys are doing, there are people tuning in. They're having the worst day of their lives. They're turning on your podcast, and you being funny and just being entertaining and being empowering is just, it's saving their life, because that's what they need. And when she said that, I was like, oh my God, for me, that was like, that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's why I love like discovering you and now having a friendship with you and with Paul and with Danny. Because when I first started on the Kane show, that was the magic of it. Like Kane and Sammy and Eric and I were all, we just had this amazing chemistry.
Yes.
And people would just literally call us and they would cry, or they would send us the most beautiful messages. And they'd be like, look, I'm having my mom is dying. Like I'm having the worst time. And I tune into your show every single morning, and I escape for 2 hours. And that's what I want to provide, is like this, just like, and not only that, but for women, I feel like I can't stand, like we're hearing it all the time from brands. Ooh, you're too much or too this. And I just want to have this brand like on Instagram and this show, when people tune in and they're like, Lady Gaga, are you guys fucking crazy, or is this brilliant? You know what I mean? And be unfiltered. And that's what, and I think I always channel Joan Rivers, because that's what Joan did. Joan was outcasted in Hollywood. You know, when she crossed Johnny Carson, that was it. She was blacklisted. But Joan every day got up. She and that manager would call everybody. She'd do little clubs. She'd do carnivals. She'd do whatever.
God.
And she did cruise ships. But Joan was such an icon. And I think of how entertaining and empowering.
That literally, I got emotional when Deborah was talking about how it changes people's lives. You have no idea who you're affecting, but if you just get out there and have a positive attitude. I mean, her story about the person that called and said like, hey, you don't do your Facebook Lives anymore. And it was just a really good example about how she actually provided a friendship for that person just over social media.
And I think too, I loved the saving lives, and that's for anybody, and it's for anyone. It's if you own a bakery, if you make bread,
that's so true.
You think sometimes we get in the monotony of, I'm just making bread, but for somebody coming to your store, coming to see you, that is their highlight. That is changing their day, and it's so simple. We get caught up in the likes and what we look like and all that stuff.
Could not have said it better myself.
I loved it. So anyway, that's the why. So if you're tuning in, that's the why. Why are we doing this? We want to entertain you and empower you. And I feel like I want people to come and escape for an hour when they listen to us. And, hopefully you're empowered to follow your passion, because it's really hard to follow your dream.
I definitely feel that. I mean, did you ever feel that you went into a certain career path? I tried so many in the entertainment business until I kind of found my niche. Yes. And that goes along with any kind of career. It's what do you love?
For us, right? I learned that lesson this past fall of like pitching the show back to 107.3, which of course now is sold. And now it's like Christian rock. Every time
Mom came into the room
she
this
loving
morning.
it.
She's like, what new channel is that?
That 107.3.
107.3. I'm like, what's funny is
K-Love. Jesus love.
At one point we were trying to pitch ourselves to that station.
Which isn't the irony? Is now they're literally like, Lord, lift us up. And we were on there on night going like, all right, so if you've given 4 blowjobs in one night, are you considered a slut? 800-727-1073.
Call us in.
So I think of how we don't fit anymore in radio. We don't fit anymore in radio. Radio is so safe. We don't fit. And that was me trying to put our star into a square box.
Oh, look at you. I like that metaphor.
We are. You're literally star-shaped.
We don't fit.
Trying to fit in a box that doesn't, it doesn't work. They sold to God. Okay, can you imagine us doing like a religious thing? I don't know. Sometimes people like quote the Bible. They're like Corinthians 1:7.
They don't actually know what verse it is. They have no idea.
I'm actually thinking to myself, where do I even find that verse? Like, is that the book at the Catholic Church, like in the back of the pew? Like, what? I mean, if you had a gun to my head and you were like, find it, Corinthians.
Your ass would find it.
I'd be so lost.
Pages, you would find it.
completely lost.
No, you would find it.
All right. We have lots of stories that we want to get to. We have a great pineapple mail of somebody that reached out to you. And essentially, what's the premise? We won't get into the details because we'll wait till the end of the show. But what is the premise of today's pineapple mail?
It's relationship oriented.
Okay.
And they're in a long-term relationship, and one of them had a little slip up. Not all the way, but they kind of just wrote to us to ask, is that considered cheating? Should they tell their partner?
Ooh, I love this. Okay.
So I don't know.
So didn't have sex with another person, but basically made out with somebody or something?
Well, yeah, you said don't give me the details yet.
Sorry.
So this is what happened. They didn't use a condom. No, so yeah, I mean, she had a little falling out, and she said, yeah, I didn't have sex, got very close to it, and is it cheating or not?
Ooh,
do you have to tell the person if it's just a make out sesh? And it was a super emotional time in her life. And I
have thoughts. All right, I'll share those. How do you feel about this guy who's 31 years old? Did you see this? 31 years old, claims he's dying from a mystery illness, which he doesn't disclose online. So this was a big online discussion. He is married, and he says, should I tell my wife I'm dying? And he says he doesn't have the heart to do it. He says that he has just 12 months to live, and instead he wants to take her on a holiday so they can spend time together. He can work remotely from his job. This was a Daily Mail story. And it's an anonymous husband. Okay. Anyway, but the story is getting a lot of discussion because people are wondering. And he says that, of course, like most men, I've been predicted to live until 50, 60-ish with the condition that I have. I've been dealing with a medical condition that requires constant medication, the user said. However, a recent complication has cut down that time to 12 months, 6 months if it's early. I'm married for 4 years, no kids. I haven't had the heart to tell my wife the news. I don't even know how. The man goes on to reveal that his controversial idea about how to tackle the final months of his life. I've been saving up to go to graduate school. However, I don't see that happening at this point. So I want to take my wife to Australia. She could get a leave of absence. Then we could spend the time together, and I would tell her when we came back after 2 months together. What do you think?
Okay. I'm going to choose my words carefully. Now, your wife knew that you were only life expectancy to 50 or 60 years old, but you have to tell her. It is your wife. You need to have a sit down with her, give her a glass of wine, give her a massage. And I know this is really hard for you, but you are being so selfish if you keep this information from your wife.
People have mixed reviews, though. Online, people were saying, please tell her. My mom hid her cancer from us and my family. We eventually found out, and she spent her last month in a hospital while her children and husband were so confused.
Oh, my God.
Other people are siding with him, saying, look, you know what's best for your wife. He knows her well enough to know that if he breaks the news now, the last 12 months will be prolonged experience where he has to nurse through his significant other while his final days are up. Basically, like getting her through it, too. Well, okay, that's life.
That is life. And while I understand that, what do you think she's going to feel like when your autopsy or your reports come back and says, actually, he actually knew all of this?
I feel like you can never be deceptive to people. You just have to, because here's the thing, we're always told this in therapy, is the other person can handle it. You know what I mean? Because as an adult, you need to also be responsible for your own actions and feelings, and that is life. Like, life is, we're here, we don't know what the next step is, or you go to heaven or hell, whatever you believe. You have to also have enough respect for your wife to know that she can handle it.
And you two should solve the
Yes.
sadness together.
Yes.
I think she would respect you so much more if you actually just disclose the information. I don't know. You can't keep that secret.
You cannot keep that secret.
Like, why are we going to Australia? Like, why am I taking a leave of absence?
I know. I'm not even on the fence about this one. Like, I think it's so selfish when people do that. And I know they're doing it to try to protect their loved ones, but you do them a disservice because it almost comes off as you're lying. And you really, I think, say to them that they don't have the emotional capacity to handle it.
It's a tough one. I really hope he tells her, and I really hope they still go on the vacation.
Me too.
That'd be really hard.
Really hard. All right. So how about this? How would you feel about this if some writer wanted to follow around your sex life for 10 years? Like, peel back the curtain, AJ on the mic, like your sexual desires, Iggy's. Like, Iggy doesn't have to be on. You could use an anonymous name, but she wants all of it. Your fantasies, what you do, if you cheat, if you don't cheat. What do you think? I would totally sign up for this. What do you want to know?
They would fire me in 2 seconds.
Why? Because you're not doing it?
No, I'm working all the time. I literally have I'm always tired at 11 p.m. I don't live with him, and it's like.
But
you heard
think
at the
about
live show.
where do you think you're going to be in 10 years? What do you think you'll be doing? I mean, 10 years,
that's
you could be
true.
having sex with like. Who knows what you'll be doing? You could be doing the whole cast of SNL and Lauren Michaels.
You're right. Tables could be turning. But how is she going to follow you around for 10 years? What, are you just supposed to stay friends with her and she just follows you around the country?
All right, this writer followed women for three women, their sex lives, for nearly a decade. And the result is a compelling portrait of desire.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So apparently, Tadio is her name. She drove across the U.S. 6 times in 8 years to interview her 3 sources, none of whom put up their real names. The debut book, which is coming out later this month, called 3 Women, journalist Lisa Tadio offers another perspective of these 3 women. She says it's a battle cry and a lullaby and a lyric disposition of 3 women's sex, desires, and so much more. She says that the 3 women talk about, one of them is with a man who she's been married to for many, many years, who ended up enjoying watching his wife have sex with other men and women. Would you ever be down?
That would make me
Yeah.
a little nervous. Does he ever get involved? Or no, he just watches from afar?
He just watches.
Okay.
Yes. She went and saw Lena in Indiana. These are not the women's names. Maggie in North Dakota and Sloan in Rhode Island. Okay. She effectively lived through them, recording all of their sexual secrets, hopes, fears, and ultimately origin of those fears, which in all 3 cases provided exceptional plot jolts. Her observations were limitless, according to, this is a Times article. She talks about Toledo uses their experiences to raise many questions that aren't, at least in the abstract, confined by sexual identity, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status. This will be really fascinating. One of the women ends up having a spouse that will not kiss her on the lips, ends up having an affair with an old sweetheart because of it. Or what about when you have a privileged life and an inviolable marriage and your partner likes to watch you have sex with other men, women, and sometimes both? These were her subjects.
Well, that's
First
right
of
on
all,
par with you. You'd be like, yes. Although you love schman, but you would not say no to another good dicking.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I really hope we get to the point. Like, I really hope we get to the point that we could have sex with other people. But see,
But
here's
I would
the
want to
thing.
involve him in it. You know what I mean? Like, I would want my man to be involved.
Me too. Me too. And I mean, I don't know. Right now, I mean, schman is so monogamous. It's like, I mean, Swan's
He's
made
a
for
swan.
life. I
He's
mean,
a
honestly,
swan.
that fucking Swan, I can't lose him. I mean,
You can't.
He is literally following me all around the pond. And it's like, all right, dude, let's just how about we just see what other swans are up to, okay?
Let's just see what they do for fun.
Let's just see what they do for fun. But here's the thing is, like, the way these women started out, they didn't start out like this. It's just like over the 8 years, one spouse decided they weren't going to make out anymore. So then she ends up having an affair. What are we going to do in 10 years? We come back. How do you think our sex lives will have changed?
Honestly, it gives you a good look back at, do you ever journal?
Yes, I love journaling.
And it's so amazing to go back and read on like vacations. You're like, oh, like look back at this time. And can you imagine? I would have never even thought to journal my sex life.
I'm going to start journaling that.
Doing just your sex journal?
Right now, terrific dick. And then in 2 years, the dick is dried up. The dick is dried up. We now have a child. The child sleeps in the bed with us. It's so terrible.
And then sometimes I find my old grandmother's diaries, and it's amazing to read. What if your granddaughter opened up a sex journal and was like, tonight's dick was pulsing? And like, imagine if they found that shit, though.
What did your grandmother write in her diary? That's amazing.
Oh my God. Went to the Federal Credit Union today. They always wrote in cursive. They always wrote in cursive. Wonderful day down by Georgetown. Grab some tea with friends. It was not a frightful.
Okay, so there was no dick.
There was absolutely no dick.
Went to the
And
credit.
we used to have a tenant in the house. Like we live in a huge DC townhouse, and we always have had a tenant in the basement and the
Oh yeah,
top
sure.
floor.
Yeah, you guys got big old
We
row
no
home.
longer have tenants, but we had one that when I was a kid, and she lived in a room. She was just this young girl, and like friends with my parents. We opened up her journal. We still have it. It is fucking hysterical. The way she describes men. Oh my God, she was the horniest 24-year-old I've ever read about in my life. The way she would describe him, she'd be like, fuck the Lopezes because like they didn't cook dinner tonight. But literally, I'm going to see Fabio, so I don't even care. I can't wait for his pulsing dick to be inside of me. You read this shit, you're like, Mom, who was this woman?
Did you guys ever try to send it back to her?
Oh hell no! It's years later. We just found it in a closet like last year.
Oh my god! Please bring it in and read it on the show, you guys.
It is
this
hilarious.
Is amazing plot twist.
It is hilarious. Yeah. Oh my god, you should listen to her read about. I mean, the things that we would read it as a family just for fun until it got too dirty, and then my mom would be like, "Close the book."
Oh my god, we have got to read this. We're gonna read a passage every week from this chick and like really find her. That's amazing.
We should try to find her. She was kind of a bitch, apparently.
Oh my god. She's living the life now. She needs that journal. We got to see how much of that pulsating dick she got.
But it's funny because she has the same
epic.
She has the same dating issues that girls are having nowadays. Like, ugh, he didn't call me back, but I know it's really hard.
History just repeats itself. It's all the same shit. I mean, people are like, men are not open. Like, men are less open today. Really? Let's circle back to 1944. They weren't doing shit then either. You know?
Exactly. The times don't change.
Times don't change, folks. What's the deal with this couple in North Carolina that paid $25,000 to replicate their cat?
Oh, Lord. So this newlywed couple, when they first got married, they got a cat together. Loved the cat. Amazing cat. It grew with them. Now, 19 years down the road, the cat was like almost on the verge of death. You know, it's 19 years old.
Yeah, it's had it.
Cat years. It's had it. It's at its wit end. So, they decided to clone their cat, and it goes for $25,000, $35 or maybe $50 if you want to clone your dog.
Okay.
Dog's a little bit more difficult. I'm getting, but they decided to clone their cat. It looks exactly like the same cat, but it's not the same cat.
Okay,
it's just a carbon copy. Then 6 months later, their original cat dies, but they're fine because they've got the new cloned cat.
I can't imagine doing this, like cloning an animal.
Well, you hate animals anyway, so like you wouldn't be cloning a hamster.
Hell no. I mean, things are here for a while. You have to enjoy them while they're here. Plus, like, you never get the same cat back as far as their disposition.
That's what I was going to say. They can't clone your brain.
No, and over the years, we've had many dogs and cats, and some of them are like humans. I mean, they really are. But still, you have to enjoy them and remember their memories and move on.
Their original cat's name was Cinnabon, and it died.
Cinnabon.
So now they have Cinnabon too. If you guys ever want to clone your pet, you can search Via Gen Pets online, and they will clone your animal. But I think the prices have now since gone up from the $25,000.
That is crazy.
But you know what? Then I was thinking maybe it's like a sign of their love. Like, oh, the cat grew up with them in their marriage. They got the cat together right when they got married, and they don't want that to die. Because, like, what if the cat was like a huge part of their relationship? Like, they had petting hours, and so they had to clone this cat in order to feel whole as a couple. You know.
Well, again, you need more therapy.
Okay.
How about this? 5. I know I don't want to be like singling you out on the show, but here is a list of unprofessional habits that annoy everyone you work with. I wanted to see if you do any of these, or if I do any of these.
Off. Well, probably number one, showing up late. Okay. You know what?
You've gotten so much better though. You've gotten really better.
You know, I used to show up 30 minutes late, and now I've kind of toned it down to maybe like 10 minutes to 5 minutes. And here's my problem. I never factor in parking, getting inside the building. You know, I never factor in those extra things.
Yeah, just like few things, but I think you're getting better. It doesn't really annoy me because, you know.
No, it does. Sarah is the biggest stickler for time.
No, because here's the deal. You're always on time enough. Like, all right, sure, we say we're going to have a show meeting at 9:30 a.m. or 10:30. Okay, yeah, you're 15 minutes late for that. But the reality is the show doesn't go live until 12:30, so you're always there for that. What would drive me bullshit is if you knew that the live showtime was 12:30 and then you were rolling it at 12:45.
Oh, no, that wouldn't happen.
That would be too much for me. They also say eating particularly smelly items at your desk drives everyone nuts. These are unprofessional things. Reheated fish, hard-boiled eggs, Brussels sprouts, raw onions, garlic, tuna salad, stinky cheese.
People hate me for that.
Being negative all the time. Oh my God. I'm struggling with this one because I have some friends. They're not even work people, but they're so negative all the time. Or we like a little gossip, but I'm also getting to the point like, I don't want to gossip anymore. I don't care. You know what I mean? We're on a mission to do something bigger for our audience. I don't want to talk about other people anymore.
Very true. Or the other thing is distracting other people. Like, I do this too, and I need to work on it. But showing me a social media video or an Instagram, I'm just like, no, we don't have time for that.
I totally agree with you.
Distractions.
How about this? Disrupting or disturbing people, being distracted during meetings. So like you're playing on your phone, you're like writing something and then someone in the meeting has a question and you don't know what to, you're like, could you repeat that? Like they hate the distracted person in a meeting.
Yes, I definitely see that. Just pay attention, guys.
God, we all have this coworker
Although I
too.
have a short attention span.
Acting like you know everything. I don't feel like our team right now. No one's like that though, which is awesome.
We don't know a damn thing. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've never been one to be a know-it-all. In fact, I'll dumb myself down to make sure no one thinks I'm a know-it-all.
Bragging to your coworkers was also on the list. You know a lot of braggers, office braggers?
Do we know office braggers, Sarah?
I think we do. Sweetie.
No, you know what it is? It's a humble brag. It's like,
Yes, that's true. Humble brag. You're right.
I have to drive all the way to New York, stop for a night, have exhausted, and then the next day drive to the Hamptons.
That's true. I do know a lot of humble braggers. And I think we're in we're so in the era right now of fake it till you make it. So everyone wants to come in like they know it all, like they're so successful. Shit, you aren't successful. You're sitting here in an office cubicle with us. All right? Fuck yourself.
Oh, everybody has a different idea of success, but
Everybody.
Yeah. Now, we love you, Paul, by the way.
We always do. Everything that's happened in pop culture news, we call it poppin' on the show. Andy Cohen has revealed why Housewives stars get the boot from the show. Any guesses why you think people get booted from Real Housewives franchise?
They're a snooze and a bore. I mean, you've got to bring the drams.
He says I thought this was great. He did an interview with Paper Magazine last week, and Cohen said that the women get the boot when they become a turnoff to viewers for whatever reason. They appear too fake. They're not interesting. They're not entertaining any longer.
I mean, I totally see that. Who's bringing the drama? Who is... If you're a showboat, if you're boring, if you're not willing to flip tables over like Teresa Giudice,
Teresa Giudice,
then you're boring. If you don't have enough like bad stuff going on in your life.
Man, talk about, I know for her. He says the people that straddle the line the best are Vicky Gunvalson, Bethany Frankel. I like Bethany. I loved Bethany when she first started. I'm not sure if I love her now.
Because that was like before, well, she's always been successful, but that was before the big bucks, right? And then she like, capitalized on everything, and now we're like,
she was so real. She was so real. He also says Nene Leakes hits the bullseye, Vicky Gunvalson, as I mentioned, and Bethany Frankel. Lisa Vanderpump is leaving. You don't really watch Housewives, but I'm trying to think of who a housewife is right now that I feel like I could do without. I think Gina on Real Housewives of Orange County I could do without. I'm not a huge Gina fan. Now I want Megan King Edmonds back. Because her husband just cheated on her. He was the baseball player.
No.
Yeah.
Who's the one that we just did a story on? She's blonde. I think it was...
I think it's Megan King Edmonds. Her husband was cheating on her when she was giving birth to their twins. Like he was sexting that other woman.
Yep.
I want her back.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so many. Real Housewives of Potomac, love them. Unfortunately, Charisse had to go because she wasn't that interesting.
That's crazy. How far in can they get the boot? Like 6 months in, or like whenever they feel? Whenever Bravo is like, you're done.
Season by season. I think it's like season by season.
And they just don't come back. It's not like they just kill off the character. They're just like,
just
they got the boot.
Toni Braxton's niece, Lauren Braxton, who is from Maryland, the cause of death has been revealed. Very, very sad. Drug addiction is just, it's so difficult. And for me, it's always like the lowest depth of misery. And I don't know how people I mean, I do know how because addiction is very tough. But she died of a heroin overdose and fentanyl in her system. Michael Conrad Braxton Jr., Lauren was the daughter of Michael and the niece of Toni Braxton, passed away in late April of 2019 at the age of just 24. The medical examiner this week in Maryland tells E! News that the autopsy has been completed and the cause of death is heroin overdose and fentanyl intoxication. The manner is undetermined. So sad. Big debate on the Braxton family, too, as some of the aunts did not show up for the funeral because they said it was too much. Tamar especially. Tamar was the one that really didn't show up.
They just didn't show up because they were over emotional.
Tamar Braxton said she couldn't show up. She just apparently couldn't handle it, according to a source.
Wow.
Yeah. According to the incident report obtained by E! News in April, Lauren was found laying in the kitchen floor by a witness who had been talking with her approximately 10 minutes earlier. After the witness cited in the report realized that Lauren was unresponsive and it was not a prank, called 911. When they got there, they could not resuscitate. She's so pretty, too. Such a tragic, God, that is heartbreaking.
Did she have any history? Like, what was the history behind it?
I don't know because I guess Michael. I don't really watch Braxton Family Values. I did like the first couple of seasons. I just haven't really caught up. So I think he was on a couple of the seasons, but not as much as the sisters.
Right.
So. Yeah, very, very sad.
Very sad.
You also had Dr. Ruth tweeting out that essentially how many days are we into the year, and she was basically issuing in a warning.
Yeah, you guys know we love Dr. Ruth on the show.
I love her. I watched that documentary. You have to, which I think is on Hulu. Her life is remarkable. Oh.
She recently put out a tweet. Today is the 176th day of the year. I'm not saying that you should have had sex 176 times, but if you're still at 0 in 2019, maybe you ought to be trying harder.
I love it.
I love it.
There are people listening and watching this show that haven't had sex this year. That's tough. Like, you got to get out there and get at it.
Now, droughts will happen, and that's okay.
That's true.
I've been in a drought.
Me too, 4 years. I didn't have sex at all when I was in college. Like, I did other things, but nobody would have sex with me. It was really awful.
Actually,
I was in a bad place.
Well,
4 years.
I was a late bloomer, so I really didn't have sex a lot either.
It was
actually
sad.
At all. It was sad. But then you found your place right after college. You got into that.
I got it. I made up for it. I'm making up for lost time, everybody.
But yeah, don't be afraid to get out there. But don't go around sleeping with everybody. We're not telling you to do that. But if you happen to find somebody, well. Have a good time.
Get at it.
Get at it.
Any surprise to you that, I meant to talk about this a couple of weeks ago, but Ashley Darby and Michael Darby from Real Housewives of Potomac, their restaurant Oz is closing, which was a big plot line for the first couple seasons of Real Housewives. And did you ever go there, by the way?
I never went there.
Yeah, I did. Actually, the food was pretty good. I think they started out maybe turning people off because initially they served kangaroo meat.
Kangaroo meat?
Yeah. They're like, and that in emu, I think.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would try emu. I'd definitely be down to try kangaroo. Maybe like some beef jerk.
No, thanks.
You know where I still need to go is Juliana Rancic's restaurant.
Oh, RPM? We gotta go. RPM Italian's amazing.
Well, I love Italian.
I think the cuisine was just too out there at Oz.
The kangaroo.
I think when they started, it was too much,
People are like kangaroo. But the thing about being in a city is the diversity of foods. Like, you can go anywhere. You can get, what's huge in DC is Ethiopian.
Oh my God, the Ethiopian food is so amazing.
Oh, now I'm hungry for that.
Me too. Also, last pop-in story, you said that the woman, what is the Versailles? I saw that documentary too.
Queen of Versailles, Jackie.
Yes,
Siegel.
Their daughter died of a drug overdose too, and now she's drug testing all her kids. You think that's extreme parenting?
They're calling it extreme parenting, but I don't think that. I think she's making up for lost times of not being as aware and present. Even though, if you guys should watch The Queen of Versailles. The docu is insane.
Nuts. I mean, they ran out of money. Supposedly they have enough money now. They think they finished the house or something. It's crazy.
Mr. Seagal is known as the timeshare king of the world.
Yes.
So he made all his money in timeshare. So he was out to make the biggest house in America.
Yep.
Pictured after the Palace of Versailles. And but in the midst of it, they had to shut it all down. But the docu is all about building this palace, and they have 1 million kids together. And of course, she's way younger than him, but she saw the money and she was like, "Let's do this."
I can't believe they've stayed together, but they've have 9 kids. They've stayed together.
Insane. He's 84. Their 18-year-old daughter, Victoria, overdosed on methadone and antidepressants on June 6th. Now, this was back in 2015, but they're now opening up a whole... What is it called? It's like the Victoria Foundation.
Yeah.
To make more aware. And so for the rest of their kids, she's staying very present and she's drug testing all of them to make sure. And they said that, she found her daughter's journal. Speaking of journals and diaries, she found her and it was all in there. I'm depressed. I don't feel like my family's present enough. And she talked about, cutting herself, eating disorders.
Wow.
And they kind of just weren't really aware of the signs.
Do you feel like maybe just talking to your kids instead of drug testing them would help that? You know what I'm saying?
I definitely think that, because I always wonder when I hear about these kids. Now, they were in a wedding in Utah, and this girl was staying with her boyfriend for their year anniversary, and he was a heroin addict that she met in rehab. Now, I don't know if I would let my daughter stay. She just got out of rehab herself.
So many families deal with that.
So many. And so Jackie, the mom, was basically saying, I didn't want her to be upset going to this wedding in Utah, so I let her stay home. And they come home and she's on the floor, unresponsive. So it's at some point, it's like, how do you prevent that? But then I think, well, my family, they're in my asshole 24/7. So
they'd be drug testing you. I'm surprised they don't now.
Because they literally see me when I'm home, hey, how you doing?
Oh, yeah, they're on your ass. They're calling you all the time.
My mom would sleep with me if I told her, get out of my room, I need some privacy. Oh God! But I'm planning,
Carol.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, I think just being super present and knowing what's going on in your kid's life.
Yeah, it's key.
When they're sad, when they're happy, what are their highs and lows of their days? And I know that's a lot when you're running an entire timeshare empire. So the kids were. If you watch the documentary, there's 15 nannies running around. Like, what's for dinner? The nannies are like cooking some brew and pot.
And it takes like 20 minutes to walk from one side of the house to the other.
Literally. They had like lizards and crocodiles and the whole zoo in their house.
Oh my God.
It was insane.
I know. She's crazy. I do remember that documentary. It was nuts.
Rest in peace to their daughter, Victoria. They do have a foundation in honor of it that helping.
I don't know. And that one's just hard to judge because I don't know what I would do in that position. It seems to me if you were having open conversations with your kids, you wouldn't have to.
But sometimes, honestly, it's the pressure. Your parents are such high profile people. And if you don't think you live up to that, I mean, it's a lot of pressure on these kids. And they were pushed into the spotlight and it's hard.
Last thing, Pineapple Mail. That's all people's feedbacks, questions, advice that they need from us. You can hit us up, Sarah at heyfrase.com or AJ on the mic on Instagram at heyfrase. Leave us a message. However you like to communicate is cool with us. So what's the question today? This is fascinating.
So I got a question that was about a girl who's been dating a guy for a year and a half. She says they are in a loving relationship, but she went away for a work trip. Ended up being, and she's never thought about cheating. She's not, this is her words. I'm not a cheater.
Right.
I don't condone that. I think it should end a relationship if you end up cheating. But she says she was away for such a long time.
Yep.
And things kind of unraveled. She was still talking to her then boyfriend. And they're still together, but she came to us to ask what she should do. She ended up making out with this new guy she met a while away at work.
Like a handshake. Okay, who cares? Yeah. What else?
They ended up having a deep conversation. She said they connected on a lot of levels. She ended up going back with him. They made out. He wanted to have sex. She refused. There was probably a little bit more foreplay in there, but she says she refused the sex, and she says she walked out of there never to talk to him again. She went home, acted completely normal. Is this considered cheating?
No.
We need y'all's help.
Please, give me a break.
They've been together a year and a half. They haven't even talked about marriage. But should she feel bad?
This sounds like Dan's bachelorette party. Her bachelor party. Please. Give me a break.
Honestly,
Cinnamon was on his lap, making out, giving him a hard on 3 or 4 times. Giving him a hand job, whatever.
I have to believe, right, that all guys have some sort of, even if, I'm sure guys have sex on their bachelor parties.
Okay, this is a really tough one. First of all, I don't know. Look, as someone who has cheated on some, I've been cheated on. I've cheated on people. I only tell if you really if you're getting really serious with the relationship and it's really deep. You know what I mean? My indiscretions have been when I lived with someone, it was hardcore. You know what I mean? And I had sex, so it wasn't like, oh, I just made out. But I didn't give you a break. It's a handshake. Are you guys engaged? Are this couple engaged?
They're not engaged. A year. They've been in a year and a half.
Sister, don't worry.
Now, she says, when is a good time to tell him if they continue the relationship or should she end it? Is this a sign that she's not really into him?
Well, when I had my cheating indiscretion, I was saying to a coworker who has 6 kids and he's been with his wife for 10 years.
Incredible.
He goes, I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling so guilty. I don't know, and he and his wife, and I was saying, yeah, I feel like I've cheated. And he's like, aren't we all cheating until we get married? Really? He's like, aren't we all? Isn't that everybody does that? It's
that
I wouldn't beat yourself up.
Really good point. Okay, so we should all just be.
I was like, oh, okay. I think there's a level of. You have to respect the person. I think if you're out having sex with other people and you guys are dating, and this is happening every weekend. You always to respect the person, to give them the grace and courtesy to go, look, I'm having these urges. I'm doing this.
Right.
I want you to know so we can stay together and sort of see what happens or not. I think you can't do it all the time. But I don't know. I think if you tell, you've got to be prepared that the relationship will end.
Relationship is over.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
You've just got to know your person and see what you think he would think.
I think that people need to stop making monogamy the be all end all. It's tough.
Right.
It's a long life. You have this whole thing about soulmates. It's most of us, a very small percentage of people, I think 5% of the population has a true soulmate.
Lucky ducks.
The rest of us, you meet yourself. You have a magical connection with people. You're out in life, and all of a sudden, when you just meet somebody and you have chemistry with them. It's hard.
I know. I've always thought, God, it would be so nice to have a soulmate. You watch The Notebook, the fictional movie, the fictional book, but it does sound nice.
Sister,
but honestly,
it ain't happening.
It's so hard to find that perfect person for you.
Totally. Totally. All right, let us know. You guys weigh in. What do you think? You make out with somebody, you get finger banged. I mean, do you tell the significant other?
Finger popped.
Finger popped? Oh, I like finger popped better. You get a finger pop? Now, do you tell? What do? You can always hit us up. Follow us on social media at Hey Frase, at AJ on the mic. It's at Hey Frase on Twitter. Sarah at HeyFrase.com. We love you guys. Bye, everybody. Bye. Finger pop. Finger pop. Okay, you guys, sorry to cut the video off abruptly. We're just actually playing with a new camera setting and we're just getting used to our new studio. So we wanted to give you at least a 20-minute snapshot of our show and our little podcast annex. On Wednesday, we'll be back in our normal studio, but please leave a comment and let us know. Do you like this setup? We want to make it girly, more fun, and have guests. So we hope you enjoyed it, and then so much more fun formatting things that we have to do ahead. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you for subscribing to the Hey Frase podcast and the Hey Frase show on YouTube. Hit your notifications, boom, and we'll see you guys Wednesday.